Hello and welcome to my channel, and if this is your first time here, my name is Millie, and in today's video we're going to be doing some Faux Freckles with a PH because we're cool. And this is a new product to me. I've been seeing some people who I follow use this product and I was very intrigued. The product is called Freckles with a PH and it's by Pseudo Labs, Pseudolabs, and it's not your average freckle product. It's definitely a pretty different concept. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. This is the third time I'm going to be using it, and so I'm definitely not an expert by any means. This is a little bit more like a first impressions, but I did use it yesterday a second time and I got a much better hang of it. So I'm going to go over that because I do have some pros and cons about this product that I want to talk about. So first, let's look at the product. The packaging is super sleek, very, very fancy for a freckle product, I must say. Basically, you get this little kind of pleathery case for it. It almost looks like you could store like a knife in it or something, but no, it's another weapon, Faux Freckles. And so this opens and it's just super luxurious in here. And you pull out the freckle product itself, which actually came in a box, which was in there. And I got the shade 01 and it says on the box, water resistant Faux Freckles for all skin types. And there's 0.14 ounces or 4.3 milliliters. And does it say anything else on the back? It just has directions and ingredients. And it is gluten-free, vegan, cruelty-free, and it has a 9-month so back to the product, this is what it looks like. And also inside of the case is this really nifty little contraption. I don't know what to describe this, but basically this is what you use to get the freckles on, and you can also use it to stamp more on if you wanted to. So you've got all those little things in this container, and just my first concern is that this is white and this is not white, and this is going to be touching the product, so you really have to make sure this is cleaned off before you put it back in here. And there's like a little pocket. It's really cute. And so now onto what the applicator looks like. It's really, really cool. It's basically a jumbo round mascara wand. So imagine like an arts and crafts project where you have a toothbrush with some paint on it and you're kind of flicking the bristles out to create like a spray effect. That's basically what this is. And the first time I used it, it was a mess. It was literally everywhere. It was all down my hand. I couldn't get it off. It's definitely waterproof, and then I got it even on my shoulder and I got it on my legs. So you need to be really precise with this unless that's what you're going for, which brings me to my first con, which is that it gets kind of everywhere unless you put down like a towel here if you didn't want it on your chest. But that's also a pro, because if you do get it on your chest or your arms, it might be a bit more realistic looking, because you might not necessarily just have a lot of freckles on your face. You would also have them here on your neck, on your décolletage, and on your shoulders, so that way it just looks a bit more realistic. So it's kind of a little bit of both. You gotta weigh both sides equally. So let's get into the demo part. Also, I didn't want to mention this brand definitely has that kind of too cool for you vibe, kind of like Glossier. It's basically a lot of models that have won the genetic lottery and that just have amazing, beautiful, glowy skin, and they just have this kind of natural beauty about them, very much like Glossier, like I said. And so with the product also came this little flyer which basically shows you how to use the product. So I'm just gonna quickly run down through this. So first you flick, which is you shake the bottle and then you hold the wand, allowing the formula to run into the cap, which is another one of my concerns, is that the cap is going to be so messy eventually, and or maybe even pretty quickly. And then you hold it about an inch away from your face and you run the middle of the pick softly through the bristles facing your skin. This is a little tricky. It seems like it's gonna be really easy, but you really have to be a little bit methodical about it. And then you can tap it out to kind of soften up the spots. And that's the other thing I've noticed. This dries down super fast. So I would just do a little piece and then dab it out and then do another part. I wouldn't go ahead and do like your whole face and then try to dab it out, because it will be dried down and you just can't soften them up after that. They're really stuck on there. And then in the last step, you can use the other side of the applicator, and you can just kind of dip that in and apply freckles where you want them specifically. And I do have a little grip with that part, so we'll get into that. And so I feel like you can already tell it's getting messy, and this is like the 4th time I've ever pulled it out. So I feel like you're gonna waste a lot of product that way. And on the website, they also do say that you can use this for 6 months every day until it will run out. So that's definitely quite a bit of usage. I wonder if it could be even more. So let's get into it. So what I found is you can flick up or you can flick down. I've been kind of liking flicking down. And something else that kind of bothers me a little bit about this is you want to do this before you do your eye look, because you will most likely get this on your eye look, like somewhere here or maybe even on the eyeshadow. So let's start. I have a little mirror. You can see a little bit. And it does have a scent to it too. It's a little like perfumey, but it's not anything overwhelming. So of course the harder you flick, the bigger the spots are. So let me just go in with a sponge and quickly dab this out. I do think that this technique leads these to be a bit more random, because you're not specifically dabbing them and trying to make it look random, but they're literally really random. But I personally don't really care about having freckles like all over my face, at least not yet. Maybe it's something I need to get used to. So let's try more. That's a lot. And again, going to dab. And it definitely helps a lot in making these look more realistic. But I just don't like how it goes in places that I don't necessarily want it to be. And of course the models in all their like tutorial videos are flicking this on with their eyes wide open, which I can't. It's like a weird reflex. You're just like, I don't want to get this in my eye. So there we have it. I definitely think dabbing is a must, at least for me personally and for my skin tone. But I do feel like that just looks really, really realistic, except for this one. And I think if I especially wasn't wearing foundation, I think it would be even more realistic. So I do just want to go in a little bit more. And see if I can focus it on my nose. Just a bit more. Dab it out. And so when you swipe downwards, they go down. And when you swipe up, they go up. Because then they're more likely to end up on your eyes. And as you can see, I have it all over my arm and my hand. Which again, it looks really realistic. I actually, when I did it the first time, it ended up on my shoulder, and the whole day I was like, are these real or not? And then I wiped them off, but they looked so realistic. So let's use this and see if we can draw on some freckles. So I have a problem with this applicator, and that's that it's like flattened in the tip, and also the end of it is not pointy. So if you're gonna go like this, you're gonna get a long kind of mark, which just is not realistic, obviously. Ooh, oh geez, gotta work fast. So let me demonstrate. It's really big, so this is good if you want bigger freckles. What I like using is just the kind of point of the flat side, but even then it just messes up really easily. So that is a one con I have with this product for sure. Like, see, I just made like a longer mark there. That's not realistic at all. So you gotta use like this bottom edge, because otherwise it's too long and it's unrealistic. So I think this is kind of where I want to leave it. So I'm going to zoom you guys in, and we're just going to talk about my final thoughts. So for some of my final thoughts, I think some pros are they're very realistic because they are truly random. I love the color, but I do feel like they need to be blended out and just softened a little bit, at least on my skin tone. And then the other pro is that there is quite a bit of product in here to last you. And even though this is a little pricey, you get a lot of product. I actually wanted to compare it to my Freckle Pen from Lime Crime as well as the Freck Pen. So the Freck Pen, which is the large one, has 0.11 ounces or 3.15 milliliters. So that has less than this one for sure. This one has 0.14. So this one has, you know, a little bit more. And the Freckle Pen from Lime Crime has 0.085 fluid ounces or 2.5 milliliters. So definitely a lot less, but it is on the cheaper side. And I also wanted to do some swatch comparisons for you so you can get an idea of the color. So the bottom swatch is the Pseudo Labs Freckle product. Then we have Lime Crime Amber, Lime Crime Cocoa, and this is the Freck Pen. So you can see Amber is very cool tone compared to the rest of them. And the Pseudo Labs shade is kind of like a baby poop color. I hate saying that, but that's definitely the way I would describe this color. And then the Freck Pen is much more reddish. So now onto some of the cons. It's pretty messy, which I don't exactly love because while it is quick to do once you get the hang of it, so I want to use this if you're already dressed in something nice or something white and you don't want to get it dirty because you risk that. And I got it all over my hand, and that's another con. I don't love that. I wish there was like a way to prevent that. And also the tube is pretty messy, and so that's kind of wasting some of the product, which really isn't a good thing given the price of this product. I'm really curious to see how long this lasts and if it will kind of dry out. I suspect that the Freckle Pen from Lime Crime would be the quickest to dry out. Not only does it have less product, but also just the nature of the product and the whole felt tip thing. Those usually kind of dry out fastest. And then the Freck Pen, I would imagine, wouldn't really dry out unless you've had it for a really long time. Then it might kind of thicken up the formula a little bit. So I'm really curious to see how long this lasts me. Probably a long time. And the other thing is I always do my eyes first and then my foundation. So I would always be doing my Faux Freckles last, which is not going to really work out with this product unless I'm being super careful, because there is a huge risk that you will flick this and it will go into your eye area or into the actual eyeshadow and kind of ruin the look unless you're really quick about trying to wipe it off. But that's just definitely something I'm not a huge fan of. So, you know, there's some pros and cons. I just really love the way it looks. So I'm definitely gonna keep using it, and I will update you guys on my experience and my feelings and kind of my final thoughts on this product, since this is the only third time that I've used it. But I feel like I'm slowly getting the hang of it. So I've been getting used to it, but also I think my like for it is growing a little bit, because when I first tried it, I was like, this is awful. This is horrible, this is so messy, but now I'm starting to like it a bit more. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this product. Would you try it? Do you have it? How do you use it? Let me know if you have some tips and tricks. I would love to hear them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.